Hey guys, welcome back to Rick's Car and Bike. And this is the first video in our new series of Season 2. And we'll be taking you through some amazing adventures crossing the highest pass in British Columbia, traveling some of the great back roads and adventure routes that are in BC, and then taking you through some of the incredible, beautiful places like here, just high above the Fraser River Canyon, and some of the waterfalls that exist in this province. A few fixes that we've done on all kinds of different cars, and the installation of a heater in a Ford Transit, which was kind of fun. And of course, we did some work on a Infiniti FX35, improving the cleaning up things, the mass flow air sensor, and things like that. So yeah, it's looking forward to being a good year. And in this video, what I'm going to focus on is taking you through just a little bit of the damage that happened to my motorcycles over the last couple of years. I had a couple little crashes, and in fact, just after this trip that you're seeing up here, the highlights of, I was coming back from a friend's, and I'd made the big mistake of not properly tying my sleeping bag on the back of my FZ1, and unfortunately, half an hour after my last time I checked it, it had unraveled, and it was at night. I couldn't see it, couldn't feel anything. It threw me down to the pavement on the highway at about 90 kilometers an hour, and slid for a long ways into the opposing lane of traffic. And I was just very, very, very lucky that mainly the bike sustained damage, and I was otherwise all right. So I'm just going to show you some of the damage to some of the gear I was wearing. I was wearing a pair of hiking pants. Fortunately, they were titanium. Motorcycle gloves and motorcycle jacket, helmet, of course, good leather boots. But as you can see, the pants and the jacket took quite a bit of damage through sliding along the highway at 90 kilometers an hour. And but luckily, again, with half decent gear on, obviously I would have been better off if I had my motorcycle pants on, because as you're going to see soon, and those who are a bit squeamish, you might not want to see this road rash that comes up right away. But that was the extent of the damage to my left leg sliding along the pavement. Otherwise, the bike, of course, a lot of road rash on the left-hand side of the bike. The bar end mirror was smashed, and some damage to the fairing, and damage to one of the mirrors. The slider did its job and kept most of the damage off of the left side of the bike. The rear foot peg stay, however, and the chain guard did take quite a bit of damage, a little bit of damage to the frame there, all superficial, but the rear foot peg stay was perhaps the worst damage, and that, as you can see, was broken, and some damage to the rear of the plastics as well, and you'll notice the chain guard is gone, but part of the fun. And fortunately, I've been able to replace most of that stuff. And the biggest issue, of course, was again to the leg. However, this was easy to clean up and just keep it clean. And over time, it healed up and it looks fine now. So anyway, yeah, we've been working on getting some things fixed here and replacing a few things. And the bike is fully functional, running well. And other than that, no real issues. I've been out on it, of course, since that time, and it's in good shape. So anyway, also I'll show you probably coming up in a minute here. There's some video of another FZ1 that I purchased not too long ago, just about a little over a year ago, actually. And this one was a little bit different. I'm turning that one into kind of a sport model. The gearing is altered. There it is there on the right hand side. The gearing is altered on this one tooth down on the front. So again, a little less top speed, but of course a little more acceleration. And this one was a little orphan. It was found it up for sale, and couldn't resist. It was on for a really good price, and so I picked it up. So now I've got a family of FZ1s here. I got two of them here. So this one, you know, oddly enough, in 35 years of riding, I've literally had one little crash on some gravel. But the last couple of years, I've had a couple, one with the silver one and then this black one here. Hit an oil patch in an area where there were a ton of tar snakes on the road as well. And it was a pretty warm day, but not excessively hot. But after the crash, I walked back up the road and was able to see, in fact, I guess I would call it a slick of oil that was on the road, which I wasn't able to see as I was going around the corner. Wasn't going too fast, but hey, down I went. This one was really shocking. So anyway, I've replaced the brake lever, the clutch lever, and the new bars. The bars were snapped as well, so I put new bars on, which are a little lower since this is kind of my sport model now. And in addition to that, I decided to add heated grips to the bike. And also in the crash, or not in the crash, but subsequent to moving the bike around and doing the fixes, I dropped it onto a shelf in the garage and the windshield broke. So I've replaced that as well. And let's see, we're going to take a look at the right-hand side here now. You can see the pipe had quite a bit of damage. It was all scraped up. So for now, I've just filled it with muffler cement to keep it the bike running properly. Otherwise, of course, exhaust coming out there would change the performance of it. So it's running fine, no issues. You know, other than the pipe. You'll see in a second there was damage to the foot peg, was actually snapped off, and the rear brake pedal bent, and the side here of the clutch cover was all scraped up with a little hole in there. So I've patched that with a couple layers of JB Weld. So it's doing fine. Looks ugly, but hey, that's the way it goes. So let's see what else on this side. Yeah, the fairing is probably what looks the worst because it got kind of cracked, bent, so I've had to patch that up, made up some ABS cement and cleaned that all up, and then put it all together so it's in good shape now. It doesn't look great, but then I also had to do the signal lights were kind of busted up, so take them apart and kind of use the stock rubber pieces with new little LED signal lights, which are awesome. They do a great job. So they're a little brighter, use a little less electricity, which is great because when you're adding accessories to your bike, you've got to conserve electrons. So they're working perfect. Anyway, we're going to be getting this bike on the road again pretty soon here, coming up in the next week or two, and get out there and get riding. So I've got a new tire ready for it and another one for the front, so I'm getting those on there pretty soon. Be spooning them on and getting out on the road. So yeah, the mirror here I'm pointing at it to was also snapped off, but I had another one sitting in my FZ1 parts bin, so just stuck that one on there. So other than that, she's good to go. So pretty soon we'll be out there, and hope everybody else is getting ready for their riding season as well. It's if you're not on the road yet, hopefully you will be on there soon. It's a good time to be riding bikes. Cost of gas has gone up dramatically, so for a lot of us too, it's just nice to be able to drive a more fuel efficient vehicle. Looking here at my 12-volt charger I've got on here because I intend to add a charging station essentially to be able to run a GPS and charge my phone and things like that. So there's a look at that tire. As you can see, it's done. It needs to be replaced. So we're just about there. And as you can see, these FZ1s have really nice luggage. Stock luggage rack on here is very nice. It does a great job. So, you know, I can easily use these bikes for sport touring, and it's a great bike for that. So pretty soon we will be getting out there. I'm just thinking about any modifications. I'm trying to, this FZ1 has the stock gearing on it, so in terms of miles per gallon, it gives me perhaps 3 more kilometers per liter.
Yeah, so, 3 kilometers per liter doesn't sound like much, but, saves you a bit of fuel, but the bigger reason is if you ride any kind of distance at all, that translates into about 60 kilometers more per tank, right? Which helps when you're especially between gas stops, or if you're riding late at night, like sometimes I end up riding well into the early hours of the morning, and a lot of places are closed, right? Especially on various back roads and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's the situation. So I'm continuing to develop this one as a tourer, and the other one more as a sporty bike with different gearing and stuff like that, different bars on it and all that kind of stuff. So pretty soon I'll be doing some electronic upgrades, just kind of adding some charging stuff and electrics to both of them, so they both have electric heated grips and vest plug-ins and stuff like that. Anyway, so hope you guys are doing well. Again, remember, just a lesson from what I've learned with the crashes is number one, wear your gear. Make sure you've always got your motorcycle pants on, jacket, good leather gloves, of course, helmet and all that stuff. And also, take the time to make sure your gear is tied on properly. It's the first time it's happened to me in 35 years of riding where I didn't secure my sleeping bag properly, put it in a proper stuff sack, and make sure it was on there properly. And sure enough, it came back to bite me and got caught in the rear sprocket. And if you came upon the accident, you probably would have thought that some chickens got run over because there were so many feathers from the sleeping bag all over the place. It was quite funny. After the fact, it's always funny, right? But anyway, so take care and ride safe. Enjoy your start to the riding season, and we'll see you soon.